The number one candy selling holiday of the year is unsurprisingly Halloween. That's all well and good, unless you're the oft overlooked number two candy selling holiday, Easter. Every year, Easter baskets are adorned with peeps, jelly beans, robin's eggs, chocolate bunnies, and everything in between. Today, we see if the runner up does indeed have a claim to the throne. Yes, today we delve into Easter snacks and ask, You tried that? You Tried Dat, the Easter candy episode. I'm Nick Novak with my pal Chad Hancock.
Howdy.
Nick Geiger.
Yo.
Guys, we're here to talk about Easter candy. When you were growing up, did your parents leave out Easter baskets full of candy for you to find when you woke up?
Yeah, definitely. But then there was a lot of you got to go hunt and find the Easter eggs, right, that are hidden around the yard. Wasn't that a big thing? Did you guys do that? I think we did that.
Yeah, I feel like we hid them in the house more often than the yard.
Yeah, maybe we did that too. House and yard.
They didn't hide eggs. Like we each had an Easter basket, and they would put just a bunch of like toys in it, like toys and candy all at once. Like they stuffed the baskets, and then they would hide the baskets. So we only had to find one thing, but it was like a big basket full of stuff. And then
your parents were lazy.
Then we would go to my then we go to my grandma's, and they would do the same thing. So it'd be like at my grandma's house, we would go do the same thing where she would have a basket. We would find that, and like within that she had like these rubber, like bendable, twisty Easter bunnies that she would like hide at various places of the house, and we would walk around finding all those. Except that then we'd just give them back to her so she could hide them the next year. So that was more of a challenge and not a reward.
I remember a single Easter growing up. It's the only one I remember, and it's when my brother and I both got lightsabers. And it was one of the finest Easters of all time.
Did you just like fight each other with the lightsabers then forever?
We just fought with lightsabers. We fought for the love of Christ, and only one of us won. So,
and Christ then did not love the other one. Is that how it
correct?
worked?
Yes, that's generally how they did things like centuries ago, was with lightsabers, a lightsaber battle.
Is that so? Wait a minute. So that was a rotating title then every year. So like Christ would love you for a year, but then you had to like renew his love in you by defeating your brother in combat again.
Yeah, we still get together yearly to have a lightsaber fight.
Right, I figured. So is it like whoever wins the Lifetime series then gets to go to heaven, and then the other one goes to hell? Is that how it works?
Yeah,
sure.
Things have gotten a lot more interesting since like they've come out with like the Darth Maul lightsabers and things like that, where you can really
right. The advancement in toys has really helped your prospects for the afterlife.
Isn't there a lightsaber? One of the lightsabers now that has like two short sideways cross sabers that makes it look.
Yeah,
like
that's the Kylo Ren one. Yeah.
Like, what's the point of that? What's the point of Kylo Ren's lightsaber?
Trying to come up with new lightsaber designs that haven't been done.
I feel like all that part's going to do is cut your own wrist off or something. Like, there's really no benefit.
Well, also, his lightsaber was, like, junky. Like, it wasn't, like, clean. Like, there was sparks shooting off. I think he was kind of a shitty Jedi, right? He didn't know what he was doing.
Who was a shitty Jedi?
Kylo Ren.
Which of you guys, when you had your lightsaber battles, which of you then got to drink blue milk straight out of Space Cow?
Well, that's that's since the new movie came out, we just started integrating the blue milk cow.
Oh, I figured you did the blue milk long before the Last Jedi came out. You guys just love Space Cow milk.
Geiger, who usually won the lightsaber battles between you and your sister?
I usually won. They were pretty gentle people, and I would just belt them in the face and then go like, Jesus loves me, and stand over their prone bodies. I had also put on the Chewbacca mask I got because Chewbacca was an agent from heaven.
Right.
Who's Force for Good.
Well-known lightsaber specialist.
Well-known Crusader for Jesus lightsaber Chewbacca. Yeah, no, I was. I think I have the best lightsaber record in our house. What would you say the lifetime record for you and your brother stands? Like, how's it looking for you?
It's even right now, I would say. Yeah, because I am much faster and more coordinated, but he's just a huge mass of a human, so he can kind of use that to his advantage.
You should use the Darth Maul lightsaber, so it's double bladed, and then you have a leg up.
What the fuck are we talking about?
This is what happens when we don't plan a segment ahead of time.
How many Star Wars movies until we get lightsabers that look like ninja throwing stars, or like Raphael the Mutant Ninja Turtles size, stuff like that? When do we get all those sorts of lightsabers? Or one that's like, I want to see one that's curved, like a like a pirate's what are those swords the pirates carry?
Scimitar or something like that.
I'm talking about?
Cutlass,
yeah, like a layout, or like exactly, one of those. They need, that's the advance in lightsaber technology I want to see.
It's kind of strange that in the future, in the far distant future, with a superior technological races of aliens, they've gone back to sword fighting. That's the way to solve things. Seems a bit
Geiger.
Yeah.
The movie starts off with a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It's like you haven't even seen the Star Wars movies 100 times.
A long time ago, told from the perspective of someone in 4041. No, I don't know. That's a good point.
So, Easter.
Here's somebody I wanted to take. There's a group of kids I wanted to take a lightsaber to recently, where I was coaching basketball, and it was an end of the year party. And so this is a couple weeks after the season ends. And I tell the kids, middle school kids, everybody bring in a snack. And we'll have like a free-for-all, just everyone bring in either chips or candy or juice boxes or whatever. So I decide I'll go to the store, and I see packs of Reese cups, like a big package of the 2-packs. So like 12 straight up Reese cup packs, and I think I'm going to be the hero of this party.
Yep.
Because what kid doesn't love Reese cups? So the day of the party comes, and there's all sorts of stuff there. There's chocolate chip cookies. There's like fruit by the foot and stuff like that. And the Reese cups sit there going completely untouched. I'm just watching them. This is me. I'm perched apart from the party, watching these Reese cups go completely untouched by the kids. And so I kind of start pushing them, saying, "Hey, how about those Reese cups? Who wants a Reese cup?" And
first one's free.
Some kid says, "Nah, I don't really like those."
Oh my fucking god!
And I'm shocked. And I think maybe 1 or 2 kids out of 12 took a Reese cup, which I had a lot of extra Reese cups, which wasn't bad, but man, I really had never sort of worried about the future.
Oh my god!
Of our
what do we? Oh my god! Oh, this is horrible. Oh, the youth of tomorrow. What is wrong with them? How could they?
Right.
So what candy do they like? What were they eating? What were the other snacks that were choosing over that?
They were eating. You know what else? I also brought Strawberry Crush, which they did love. Like kids are really into the strawberry and flavored sodas and stuff. But they were just going for. I'm trying to remember what was there, but it was just like, like the when you go into a grocery store and the big packages of supposedly bakery made cookies, that kind of stuff, and like bags of chips and Cheetos and, but not the Reese cups for some reason.
I'll bet. I wonder if it has something to do with the fact that like so many schools nowadays are like banning peanut and peanut products from even coming into schools because there's just like all these like absolute wuss kids with these peanut allergies, and so I wonder if they just haven't been exposed to it as much because of these pathetic schoolmates of theirs.
These children are genetically deficient. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not saying we should like put all the kids with peanut allergies onto like a separate island, out in the middle of the Pacific and just kind of let them die. But the thought has crossed my mind.
Novak, do you think maybe it's because the kids were looking for Reese's cups and not Reese cups or whatever you keep calling them? Is that possible?
That could
That
be
they're
it.
just confused?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
So wait, did you just eat all the rest of the Reese's cups then? You're like, oh, more for me.
I said, everybody stop. I said, everybody stop and look at me. I commanded all the attention of the room. And then I opened all the Reese cups one at a time, placed them, lined them up on the table. And then I just said, this is what you get. And I just started pounding them into my mouth. And there was pieces flying everywhere. All these kids who had allergies were dying. And it was just kind of a crazy scene. But I had to make a point.
That actually reminds me of when I was in I don't know, maybe 8th grade, whatever, or freshman year, I don't know, whatever year it is that you're supposed to take the like US Constitution test or whatever in school. You guys remember that?
Right. 8th grade usually, yeah.
Yeah, and so I had this this teacher, Mr. Strand, and he loved White Castle sliders. Like, he used to talk about White Castle all the time. And nobody in the class, like pretty much most of the kids, had never really had White Castle because it's dog shit. And so they were like, so he made a bet where he said, okay, if the class average is like over 85%, then I'll buy White Castle sliders for everybody. And so so he did that. So the class, scored high enough, and then he brought in a big, huge bag of White Castle for everybody. And then like maybe 3 or 4 people tried the sliders, but like most kids were just like sort of repulsed by the smell of them. I remember I ate one and I was like, I think that's the last time I had a White Castle slider. And so that left this whole big bag of White Castle sliders. There's maybe 20 sliders. And he's like, more for me. And he just starts pulling them out of the bag and just shoving them into his mouth over and over and over again. It was one of the grosser sights I've ever seen. He also was the guy, he just had like a really big belly, and like talk about how he used to like, and he used to really love to belly bump. Like, he talked about how he loved to belly bump his friends or whatever. And so one time, like, one of the bigger kids in the class was like, I'll bet you can't belly bump me. And he like called him up and he's like, come on up here. And he just went up to the kid and shoved his chest forward and like hit him in the stomach with his own stomach. And the kid went flying back like 3 or 4 steps.
Wait, in the middle of class?
Yeah.
There was some big guy in like middle school or high school that he was like a big fat kid, and he was like proud of like taking shirt off and like jiggling his body around, and he would do it all the time in the locker room. I think he thought like people would laugh. We were all kind of freaked out by it. And then he would like have people like slap his gut, so he'd have these big red marks on it, and be like, oh look, you can see your hand. Like, he was trying to like, he's like, look, I got to make this work for you to make friends. I'm a big fat guy. Let's make this big fat roly-poly nature into like some sort of amusement for everyone. But it was just kind of strange. He would put like a book under his belly and jiggle it so his whole body wiggled. It was kind of gross.
Put a book under his belly? What are you talking about?
He had like a school book, and you put it under his ponderous gut, and then he would wiggle it, and like his whole belly would just shake like gross, like fat bag of fat.
That sounds awesome.
Anyway,
it really stuck with you.
Yeah, it was the gym teacher, and I was the only one in the locker room. It was really weird.
Well, at least he wasn't teaching the class like Chad's guy, who's supposed to be teaching about the Constitution and belly bumping kids and downing sliders.
Yeah, you're right. The guy I was hanging out with was pretty cool. There was 2 stories about this kid that everyone remembered. There's that one, and then he was always in trouble, and so for some reason, he was told to like stand by the side of the hall because he was in the middle of the hallway, like doing a bunch of stuff and getting in trouble. There was this kind of one youngish female teacher that all the guys thought was good looking. So she went walking by, and he turned to his friends and started making like a jerking off motion, and she saw him and she goes, "That's disgusting. Stop that." And like, she went into the room, and he's like, we're all cracking up. And she came out and like, she left the room. She got whatever she needed, went back down the hall, and he started immediately doing it again. And without even actually goes, "Michael, that's inappropriate." Just kept walking down the hallway. We're just dying laughing. Fucking moron. Anyway, that's some random kid I haven't thought of in 40 years.
You haven't thought of him since you were -1?
You don't have to reveal my age, but yeah, that's fine.
All right, let's get to eating some Easter candy here. Now that we've covered all the Easter topics of Star Wars and poor teaching.
Speaking of sliders, let's slide some Easter candy down into our stomachs.
Let's we are going to rate 3 snacks today. We're going to do it on a 5-point scale: a love dat, like dat, indifferent to dat, dislike dat, and hate dat. And we're going to start with the Jolly Rancher jelly beans. So let's dig those out.
So we each picked one of these snacks for Easter, right? Who picked these ones?
I did.
Gotcha.
Yeah. No real reason other than I'm not even a fan of jelly beans that much, but I figure it's very much an Easter-based snack. So
what makes them Jolly Rancher? Like what? Like, is there some special consistency, or is it because of the flavors?
I think the Jolly Rancher company probably just made them.
Oh, I see. So these are just different from Jelly Bellies.
How do you guys feel about jelly beans in general? So I guess you can mention Jelly Bellies, but more of sort of the standard jelly bird egg type jelly.
I don't like them that much. They are.
So you picked some.
Well, again, I felt like we needed to represent.
You don't like them, and you are allergic to fruit, so you picked some fruit-flavored jelly beans.
If these have enough real fruit in them to make me allergic, I'll eat this entire bag. I feel like
That seems like the wrong approach.
Well, yeah, maybe not.
These things are going to kill me, so I'm going to eat more of them.
Fine, I'll eat a bag of Cool Ranch Doritos just to prove you wrong. No, I just thought we should get Jelly Bellies for Easter. Jelly beans for Easter. But no, they get stuck in your teeth, and they're just kind of like sugary. They don't taste that great. Jelly beans or Jelly Bellies, I don't mind. Like all those different flavors they have are kind of cool sometimes. But
yeah, have you guys tried those, like whatever the Harry Potter or whatever they're called, where it's like vomit and like spaghetti sauce and grass and stuff like that?
Well, they have the ones that have
bamboozled.
Yeah, bamboozled.
My kids love to do that game. They really love to watch me play the game more than they like to do it themselves.
This has strawberry, orange, watermelon, grape, blue raspberry, and green apple in it. So I'm trying all the flavors. What are you going to say, Geiger?
No, just the bamboozled packs where they have half the bag is like good tasting flavors and half the bag are bad tasting flavors, but they all look the same kind of. So you never know which one you're going to get. When I know we've done that before, we passed around, and like for some reason it petrifies me. I'm like, oh my god, I don't want to eat a booger flavored one. Like I'll just get so nervous about it. It's just a piece of candy though.
Yeah, I've eaten my share of pencil shavings and whatever the hell else that they're supposed to taste like.
I mean, you don't want to eat the booger one, but do you really want to eat the like equivalent like fucking buttered popcorn or whatever the other? I mean, those ones are kind of nasty too.
Yeah, I suppose.
Did you guys do? Didn't one of you guys do the I think it closed now, but you used to be able to take a tour of the Jelly Belly warehouse that's up there in Wisconsin.
I've done that a few times actually.
You guys ever do that?
I've definitely done it a couple of times, and I think they reopened it. But I've taken my kids there. It's somewhat interesting, just a little tour, and then you get a bunch of free jelly beans. And
I think when I took this story, probably isn't going to translate very well. It's kind of a you had to be there, but I think when I took that tour of the warehouse in Wisconsin is like one of the hardest moments I've ever laughed in my life, because you're in this just big warehouse and like you take a train sort of like around. You're all sitting on a train and the guy's like pointing out like, hey, here's where the fucking boxes of beans are, whatever it is. But our guy that we had was like. He was like
shitty. You had a shitty tour guide.
Yeah, he was like so insanely enthusiastic, and like I remember he just had this just fucking gigantic smile on his face, and he was like clapping along to the music in like this really hilarious way, and he was just like his voice was like, and this is how we make Jelly Belly jelly beans, and like just the fact that he was so enthusiastic about this just dumb shit like driving a train around a shitty warehouse. Just made me like laugh really, really hard.
It's all the more impressive given that was probably like the 15th tour he had done that day.
Oh yeah, and he was so fucking wired. I was like, this guy is definitely on cocaine.
Plus, because one of his other lines was, "This is where all the fucking bean boxes are."
I also took a tour of the Jelly Belly warehouse, or not warehouse, the factory, which is out here in California in like Vallejo or something, about an hour from SF. And I thought that was a little more interesting. It wasn't as funny, but it was more interesting because you actually do see like all the machines where they're making the stuff.
Do you get to like eat a bunch of Jelly Bellies at the end, like big?
But yeah, they
bags
have
of
like a
Jelly
huge
Bellies?
thing where you can just like try all the different flavors, including like all the vomit flavors and that sort of stuff.
Do they explain how they know what vomit tastes like? Do you go through like? Do they like? Oh, we come over here, we all puke in a bucket, and then we taste it.
Yeah, some of those flavors I like was like, I guess this sort of tastes like it just tastes gross, generically gross, you know, like I'm not really sure it tastes like vomit,
Yeah.
but some were pretty like the grass one was I mean, I've eaten grass for sure in my day. And it definitely tasted like grass.
My day.
This is where the fucking vomit bucket is.
This is where the bowl of boogers are for the taste test. We put for one booger in each bean.
All right, Geiger, rate these beans for us.
Yeah. Well, they don't. None of mine taste like vomit, which is good.
Yeah.
I will say, I'm actually sort of surprised. I like these a fair amount. Like they're, like I said, I'm not a big Jelly Belly guy, or Jelly Beans guy. Man, Jelly Belly is really pleased with how well the marketing campaign was pulled off because I can't even call the product by the right
Yeah.
name.
They've totally Kleenexed it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Xeroxed it or whatever.
Yep, no, both of those work. Q-tips, really
Yep.
good one. No, this is really. I think the flavors are really good. Like I hate one of the purple ones, the grape, and I think, or is that? Yeah, that's grape.
Yeah, that's got to be great. The only one I can't tell apart is which one's strawberry and which one's watermelon.
Yeah, but it was really good. Like the flavor is really intense and good. I mean, they still have the teeth stuck in, getting stuck in your teeth factor that you have to deal with. But I mean, I wouldn't go out of my way to get them. But like, if I'm gonna get a bunch of Easter baskets on Easter Sunday and they're full of these Jelly Bellies, I'd eat some. They're good. I'd like that. They're fine.
All right, it's a solid start with the like that. Chad, what do you think?
Yeah, I think these are sort of a pleasant surprise. They, you know, I generally, I think I like these more than I do like Jelly Bellies. And I think there's just something with the consistency here where it's like a little bit less sticky, a little bit kind of easier to chew. And I feel like the fruit flavor is better, a little more accurate. So I found myself like continuously munching on these while I was telling that dumb story about the fucking warehouse. And so, you know, I think these are actually pretty good. So I'm going to go like that.
All right. I agree with what you guys say. I like regular jelly beans somewhat, in that there's certain colors I like and certain ones I don't. So if you give me a regular bag of jelly beans, I'd seek out the purple, the pink, the yellow, and then some of these other ones I'd skip over, like the black ones and the white ones and the red ones. And I don't have to do that. I like all these flavors, and I think it's a really pleasant surprise. I've been going back. I could see myself eating a bunch more of these. I'm going to actually go one up and say I love these jelly beans. I'm gonna give it
Whoa!
Wow.
Holy
that.
shit!
You love them?
That's surprising.
I know. I'm surprised. I could see myself getting these again if I were to get a jelly bean, to get these Jolly Rancher jelly beans. So a very pleasant surprise.
Which
for
flavor like blows your socks off the most?
Well, my socks only came halfway off with most of the flavors. The grape, really. When I
Right.
had that grape,
The
like you
purple one.
mentioned, my socks shot flat,
Yeah.
straight across the room.
And I think I had two of them,
so-
and my socks, and then followed by my shorts and underwear went flying.
Right. So you have zero
Zero pants, zero
then?
socks.
The grape is the flavor that made my socks sticky. Wait, what?
Yep.
That's a jizz joke. All right, anyway.
I think the bird outside my window likes these too. Shut the fuck up.
He just wants some jelly beans.
Let's move to the Oreo egg next. So this Oreo egg looks exactly like a Cadbury egg on the outside. Same kind of wrapping. I'm not sure what to expect from it. It's the first time I've seen it this year. I don't know if you guys have seen it in the past.
I think this is
but
a
it
brand
seems
new
like
product. There's more things now that are this Cadbury egg size. Like, for example, they have a Reese's egg now, which is, you know, there's the old Reese's egg, which is like the same as the tree and the heart and stuff, and that's delicious. But now they have a Reese's egg that is the size and shape of a Cadbury egg, like this. That one's new this year. That's really good. This Oreo egg, also first time I've seen it this year, but I haven't tried it yet. I imagine it's probably just cookies and like Oreo cream on the inside, right? So the question is it going to be too much cream?
It smells exactly like a Cadbury egg on the outside. The chocolate is the same chocolate that they use for the Cadbury. The inside is not gooey. I thought it might be gooey.
It's kind of like a harder consistency than I expected.
So mine, I ate like the whole top half in one bite, and there's almost like separated, into two different clumps. Like one like settled on one side of the egg and one settled on the other, and it's like hard.
It looks like it's half empty.
It's weird.
Why is the cream so hard?
Why is the cream so hard and the cookie pieces are so small? They don't have a taste almost. They just function as like texture.
Yeah, how much of an Oreo flavor are you getting of a standard Oreo sort of flavor?
Not as much. The chocolate is kind of like dominating.
Right. All right, Chad, you're up first. What do you think of the Oreo one egg?
Yeah, this Oreo one egg. So this was the one that I picked out for us to try, of course. A little disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. I like the idea here. I think there's a good idea here, but the cookie pieces should be bigger, right? They should be like slightly bigger chunks, like when you're eating, say, cookies and cream ice cream. And then the cream needs to be softer. Like, I don't understand why the cream is as hard as it is. If it was more like a traditional Oreo cream with like bigger chunks of cookies, then I think I would like it a lot better. But the flavors are pretty good, but yeah, it's just a little disappointing to me. So I'm just gonna go ahead and give it an indifferent to that. A little bit of a letdown.
All right, so indifferent to that to start. I am kind of in line with you here. Doesn't really taste that bad. It's just, everything that's in there should make it better than it is.
Yeah.
The Oreo reminds me to even look at the Oreo part, looks like a very like super blended Oreo shake where they like didn't leave any of the chunks of cookies in it. It just looks peppered throughout. And it's not great tasting. The chocolate is overwhelming it, but there's a couple solid flavors there. I'm going to have to go with you on the indifferent to that. Which means there is a knock at the door, and is Geiger going to go diving behind the couch? What's he going to do?
Well, you guys know that I'm not very political, and I really don't want to talk to anyone that might be leaving any sort of election literature on my doorstep.
Right.
And that person, I'm guessing, doesn't really want to talk to me either. They might be inclined to just leave it there and walk away.
I mean, to be fair, nobody wants to talk to you.
That's also fair. Yes, my elected officials don't even want to be in my county.
That's right.
They run unopposed. No one even wants to challenge them. Yeah, this is indifferent to that. I think in concept it makes sense, but in execution it's probably difficult to do. Because at first I thought, why wouldn't they just use whatever the cream is in a regular Cadbury egg, which is kind of gooey and whatever, and sugary, and just sprinkle cookie bits
and put cookie pieces in it.
What's that? Yeah, but if you think about it, and it just sits on a shelf forever, like with the cookie pieces probably just kind of soggy and kind of weird. So I'm guessing that had to make it a little more stiff. But as a result, I'm with you guys. It's fine, but it doesn't really taste like Oreo. It just tastes like a super sweet chocolate ball. And for that, I would give it an indifferent. With super sweet chocolate balls, a lot better than some of the things out there to eat, but something that was less than what I wanted from it.
So what'd you say? What'd you give it?
I'm sorry, indifferent. Yeah.
Okay. So a lazy electioneer, and that's a little disappointing. I think we all had
what a disappointment.
Higher hopes for this Oreo egg, and for Geiger it was too stiff. even though I heard that you preferred to be stiff when you were watching Chewbacca fight with the lightsaber.
Yes. Well, I mean, we hadn't gotten into it, but let's just say I made my own lightsaber. Okay.
What do you guys think of? What do you guys think of people who are really into like weapons and like know all the sword names and like have swords
Like
up
colonels
on
in the
their
army?
wall and stuff like
Oh.
that? No, like neckbeards who have their own weapons at home and
Neckbeards. Like Renaissance fair geeks and stuff that like collect
I'm not
daggers and stuff.
I'm not talking about right. Yeah. I'm not talking about like putting an AK-47 in your like that's a much bigger problem than a neckbeard with a sword. But I'm just talking about the guys who are really into like they're super into probably Game of Thrones and Star Wars and stuff, and
Yeah.
they just enjoy the
I used to
idea
always
of
wonder,
having
like
these weapons.
when you get on a plane and there used to be Sky Mall, right? The like catalog of dumb shit that you could buy on the plane, and there was always
Right.
like buy the Lord of the Rings sword that fucking killed whatever orcs or some shit, and or like or I was like, it's $400. Like who the fuck is buying that?
Yeah, Sky Mall's where you can buy a Lord of the Rings sword or a fake rock that you can hold your keys in. Like, it's always some dumb shit. Like
Right.
there was actually a pretty funny, like cool story from this guy at work who is really not like a neckbeard. He's
Shaved
pretty
his neck?
thin. I believe he doesn't have a beard at all. He's clean
Shaved
shaven.
his neck.
But what's that? He has a neck. Yeah, he has one. I mean, his head rests somewhere.
shaved,
It's
though?
not. I wouldn't say
He's more of a
prominent,
neck.
but
He's
it's
more of a
there.
neck shave than a neck beard.
Oh.
Right. But he and his buddy would go to Renaissance Fair all the time. Not Renaissance Fair, Medieval Times. I'm sorry. So for those, I think everyone of the listeners would know what Medieval Times is, but just in case you don't, it's like this big place where you go and sit down and they put on like a swords and sandals kind of like knights and kings and queens show with like horses. And
Fucking
stuff
love
like
Medieval
that.
Times. It's
And
great.
everyone pretends it's fantastic. So he and his buddy used to go all the time. And one time they bought one of those big replica like knight swords and stuff and just hung it on their wall.
They bought it from Medieval Times.
Yes. And it was actual metal and stuff. It was sort of like this. I want to say Medieval Times. Maybe it was Ren Fair, but it was something like that. And so now this is the part that is not funny or cool and is actually super frightening. But he went out to the bars with his friend and his friend brought a lady home. And he just went off. He's like, okay, cool. You guys have fun or whatever. He went to sleep in his bedroom. Woke up in the middle of the night because he heard some noise and came out. And some guy had broken into their apartment and was assaulting this girl.
Whoa!
So he grabs the sword off the wall and starts swinging it at the guy. And the guy like bolted out, left all his stuff there because he was like frightened. And he kept like chased him down the hall and out into the street, like swiping the sword at him. And the guy ran away. And so they actually found out who the guy was because he left his wallet in their apartment, and then they turned it in, and the guy went to the police department and reported his wallet stolen like a fucking moron. And so got arrested, but the cops were all like wanting to take pictures with him and the sword, and like they kept going like, "Oh, you're the sword guy" and stuff, and he got written up in the local paper, like I want to say like Chicago Sun-Times or something, was like this local, like they were making all these jokes about he's a modern day knight and stuff like that. It was, I mean, I don't want to make too much light of it because it was like a sexual assault in the middle of the story, but like, anyway, it made me think of like those kind of neckbeards. That sword, it was actually came in handy one time. So maybe we should be thankful for those neckbeards, Novak, that they're out there saving us from predators.
That's what most of the neckbeards end up doing is saving someone. It was actually, it may actually happen more. But he was the first ever neckbeard who had a woman in his apartment. So really
Yeah. To be fair, wasn't his woman. But yeah. He knew somebody that had a woman, which is also an achievement for a neckbeard. So.
Did he use the sword to shave his neck ever?
Yes. He used ye old shaving powder, and then he would use a giant Medieval Times sword. He was also known as a guy who constantly had horrible cuts on his neck. So that adds up.
He was later featured in another story where he accidentally slit his throat, cut it shaving his beard. Segment time, and Chad, you had some story about some neckbeards?
Yeah, I got actually a pair of food related news stories here. Just run through them both real quick and get your guys' thoughts. So this first one is from thetakeout.com. It says headline is Drunk with Power. Heinz releases next condiment mashup. Cranch. So basically, the story is that Heinz is releasing a new condiment called Cranch, which is a mix of ketchup and ranch. And it goes alongside, they have a picture of it alongside two other condiment mashups. They have Mayo Must, which is mayo and mustard, and then Mayo Q, which is mayo and barbecue sauce. So, yeah. Anyways, they go on to talk about that this is coming out, this Cranch sauce. And so I guess my question is, first of all, would you guys eat any of those three? Cranch, Mayo Must, Mayo Q. And then second of all, rank them.
Okay.
First of all, can we just, before we get into the rankings on that, these names are dumb as fuck. Mayo Must? That's like just call it something else.
Yeah. Cranch sounds like a Ninja Turtles villain or something.
Oh no, it's Cranch. Yeah, I suppose they couldn't name it Mayo Tart. That sounds a lot worse.
Right.
Mustanese.
Yeah, Mustanese was the way to go there. And also Cranch is like just one letter from ketchup and then ranch. But like the logo, the K, R, and A is red and then the NC. So I feel like that should be Ketchinch, right? Or Ranch Up? Why not Ranch Up? Ranch Up is the answer.
Ranch Up sounds so cool and normal.
This is an easy rank for me.
Yeah.
Mayo and mustard, number one. I love that combination. I put it on burgers regularly.
Yeah.
For me, that's the easiest one to go for. I guess I'd go the mayo and the barbecue next. I could see eating that, and then I like ranch dressing and I like ketchup on some things, but that does not sound good together at all. I would try them all. I would definitely try them all, and maybe we should. But that would be my order.
But isn't the problem with these things inevitably that like, you know, like I've seen those things in the grocery store where it's like pre-mixed peanut butter and jelly in like one jar, but the problem is it's not necessarily the ratio that you want, right? Like maybe you want 2/3 ranch and 1/3 ketchup or something.
I don't mind having these jars separate in my house either. That's not like a storage issue for me or anything. You know, that I can't have my own separate jar of mustard and mayo and put them together as need be.
Just don't have the space.
These creations were in the response to the Marie Kondo craze of clearing up clutter.
Yeah, I think the only one of these I'm even remotely interested in is the Mayo Q, because I'll have mayonnaise and barbecue sauce. I guess I'd pick Cranch next because I really, really, really don't like mustard. I don't like ketchup either, but I like mustard worse. So I'll go Cranch, and then Mayo Must is the worst for me.
Yeah, I think Novak's order was correct. Mayo mustard is fine. Actually, I probably would. None of you say that. I think mayo and barbecue I'd go first. Mayo and mustard is second. I think both of those would be fine. Ketchup to me is like of all those condiments is the one I probably use the least. And I like the least. I use it in very specific scenarios. Like I will only eat it on like hot dogs and hamburgers. That's it. And so, and I've never once thought, oh, I wish I could also put ranch on these things. I like ranch fine. I don't get the obsession with ranch. So that's fine. But yeah, I would not do that. So I actually am almost not interested at all in Cranch. But I'd try it.
Sounds gross.
I have no real desire to go out.
What about a Cranch flavored jelly bean?
Oh God!
Oh man! What a shitty Easter bunny bringing you that.
Would you have that same order, Chad?
No, yeah. For me, it was Mayo Q is the top one.
Oh, that's right.
Would you want a Cranch flavored lightsaber? That
for sure.
Make sense.
I mean, like I talked about mine, that would make things kind of awkward. Just a Cranch covered lightsaber, if you know what I mean.
All right, moving on. Second story here. This is from Oh No They Didn't. The EU wants to ban the term veggie burger. Suggest we say veggie disc instead. So, members of the European Parliament voted 80% in favor of banning producers of vegetarian foods from using terms that would normally describe meat products. So, calling it a veggie burger, they say, is misleading to meat eaters. They should call it veggie discs. And then instead of veggie sausage, it should be called veggie tubes, which seems a little weird. So some people suggest this is being pushed by the meat industry. And the decision is being criticized by groups like Greenpeace, who say this will be a blow to the sustainable food industry. It still needs to be put to the full parliament. But I just thought this was kind of really, really funny for, like, I've never seen a veggie burger and then like taken a bite of it and been like, wait, I thought this had meat in it, you know, because it was like called veggie burger. Like, I mean, how fucking mouth breathing dumb are these Europeans that they can't keep track of like whether it's, you know, whether a veggie burger has meat.
I mean, they voted for Brexit, so.
Well, I mean, this kind of makes you wonder, like, well, no shit, they voted for Brexit, right? Do you want to be a part of some conglomeration that's like so fucking overseeing that they can't let you make, you know, anyway.
Yeah.
While you were talking, went to dictionary.com and looked up burger. I was just curious what burger technically implies. And there are two definitions.
Yeah.
First is a hamburger, which tells me nothing. But then second says a food patty or patty on a bun containing ingredients other than beef. So, and then it says veggie or turkey burgers. So burger does not imply that it's meat.
Right.
So it sounds like the members of the EU Parliament need to read a book, specifically the dictionary.
Also, maybe they could spend more time doing maybe higher profile activities to help their districts than worrying about what they're fucking calling a veggie burger.
Like, isn't there like a refugee crisis going on in Europe and they're worried about fucking veggie patties?
Well, I mean, the Veggie Patty Council was created specifically for this, so what else are they going to talk about?
I guess so. I had the Impossible Burger the other day. Have you guys tried that?
I've heard a lot about it. I've never eaten it.
I had it. That's the one that's like where they tried to make it. It supposedly like bleeds like a real burger and stuff, even though it's only made out of like soy and plant stuff. The problem was I tried it at the San Francisco Zoo cafeteria. So it was like the quality of like of like any kind of burger that you would get at the cafeteria. You know what I mean? Like it was like so dry and stuff. But I think the regular burger wouldn't have been.
You ate a school lunch Impossible Burger?
Yeah, I mean, that's basically what it was. And like, but the funny part to me was that the guy was like, I went up to order it, and he's like, "Oh, it's going to be like 15 minutes," because like he had to actually get one out and cook it. Like there weren't any ready to go because nobody was ordering them. So, but I would like to try it again at a place that supposedly does it well.
I think,
like Umami Burger or one of these places.
Which is the worst of those two names? To call the burger a disc, or to call the hot dogs tubes? Like the tubes is veggie tube. Like that sounds ridiculous.
Veggie tube is disgusting.
It's really bad. It's really bad. Yeah, veggie tube.
Veggie disc also, like, we're just trying to indicate the shape. Is that all we're trying to do?
Know.
Veggie circle.
Right.
Why did you kick out? So they couldn't call it like a veggie patty?
Yeah, I mean, veggie patty
that's
seems
essentially what it is,
reasonable
right?
to me. I don't know.
It seems like they shouldn't be worrying about this kind of stuff when there's like people who have lightsabers that have like the flame shooting out the two separate sides where their hand is at. That makes no sense.
Yeah,
and
that's
people
dangerous.
don't hear people talk about that at all. It just makes no sense.
Right. On top of that, every Easter, there's a giant walking, talking rabbit dressed in a suit and breaking into people's houses and looting stuff for their place. And somehow, no neckbeards have chased them off with any swords. And two, how is no one want to even investigate this, but we're all worried about the veggie patty? Doesn't seem to add up.
All right, so
they should be covering that on your credible news source, what do you think about that, or whatever the thing
Oh
was
no!
called.
Oh no! They didn't.
Oh no they didn't.com, which is what, a branch
Yeah,
of CNN. Is
it's
that
like
what
a
that is?
celebrity gossip blog. I don't know why they have a story about the EU patties, but whatever.
Perez Hilton has a real problem with these veggie tubes.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that we really should be worried about is having to eat these cotton candy peeps, which is
Ugh.
our final
Yeah. Thank you for saving the worst for last.
snack.
Who picked this one? No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to. You had to do peeps. I mean,
Did we?
I regularly got peeps as a kid as a Easter surprise, and I was always fine with them. There was never any flavored peeps. They were always just okay. But you see a lot of flavored stuff now, peeps with chocolate. But man, these cotton candy peeps, my anticipated rating is I'm anticipating hate that before I even take a bite into it.
They
but I'm
are
hoping I'm wrong.
insanely pink with like weird blue flecks all over them, and then it looks like you know when in Wizard of Oz when like the witch like melts because she gets water on her and she turns into like a half puddle. It kind of looks like that, except if the witch was a bird. or like a snowman melting or something. It just like looks so unappetizing.
Now the middle. Can't hear you, Geiger.
Oh yeah, I'm on mute. I was gonna say that it's funny that they think this looks like a bird. It really just looks like a melted puddle of human flesh. I think cotton candy in theory is.
It looks like Jabba the Hutt. If anything.
Chewbacca Cheeba.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jabba, you ain't nothing but a fat ass Candy Peep.
No, normally I'm used to seeing when you bite a peep, you have the outside, and then the inside is still the marshmallow, the white marshmallow
Right.
color. Where with these, the marshmallow is the exact color of the outside. It's a weird pinkish color. So it's hard to tell, like, sort of where the sugar coating ends and the marshmallow starts.
I'm not sure the sugar coating does end. I think it's just an entire fucking brick of sugar coating.
Well, it's just like, what's the point of calling these cotton candy? Like, so regular Peeps just taste like pure sugar.
Yeah.
Cotton candy tastes like a bunch of sugar. Like, there's really no. I couldn't differentiate them if I tried.
The cotton candy flavor is not strong at all.
Does not taste like cotton candy.
They smell more cotton candy-ish. No.
You guys like cotton candy?
Yeah, sometimes. Be all right.
Yeah, I like it fine.
It seems like more of a mess than it's worth.
Well, that is true.
It's a kid's, treat. But I would rather eat cotton candy than eat this cotton candy peep. That's for sure. Okay. I'm leading off. These aren't good. It's no surprise. I wouldn't say I hate them. I actually think if the cotton candy taste was stronger, I'd be more likely to give it a hate. But it just tastes like a slightly worse peep, and tastes like just eating a big mouthful of sugar. I am going to give it a dislike dat, however, for the cotton candy peep. Geiger?
Yeah, I actually... They're not that bad. I was expecting to hate them. I think they are better than I thought they would be. They aren't good. I think I'm probably right in line with you. I don't hate them. I'd almost be willing to go like a low indifferent, but I don't have any. I'm looking at the package again and don't want to eat anymore. So a not so upset dislike that. They're fine. They're just sugary tasting. They're just nothing. It's like a marshmallow that was dredged in your sugar dish. That's all it is.
All right, Chad. Give me a here's the
Give
thing.
it to him, Chad.
Give me a here's the thing. Come on.
Here's the thing. I have in this case, I actually have the advantage of going last here, and the reason I say that is because my initial thoughts were sort of in line with your guys, where it was like, oh yeah, these aren't all as bad as I thought they were going to be. I was going to go dislike, but while you guys have been talking, it's been just like stewing on my tongue and in the back of my throat, and this aftertaste is fucking vile. It's really, really gross. And it's just absolutely made this so unappealing to me. I don't even want to smell the rest of them. I don't want to eat them. These are getting a hate dat.
Ooh, that's fair.
It's fair. It's
fair
fair
rating.
Yeah. So who do we know likes Peeps? No one I've ever met likes Peeps.
I've never met a single person that likes Peeps, except to like put them in the microwave or something.
What?
I grew up liking Peeps as a kid. I liked them fine. That was because it was just a bunch of sugar, but it's hard to eat more than like one of them. My kids will eat them, because it's just a bunch of marshmallowy sugar, and I just think there's just so much. There's so much candy that's so far superior. I am surprised that Peeps are as popular as they are.
I don't think I even ate them as a kid, really.
I know I had them. I don't. I mean, as a kid, you'd like give me any candy, I'd eat it because it's candy. Like I was fine with it, but they were never like some. They make so many and so many varieties, and they're so ubiquitous at Easter time. And I've never met anyone that actually likes them. I just thought it's strange. So if you out there want to tell us about it, I think that would be. We'd like to hear because I've yet to meet someone that has a Peeps fixation.
So where should those people who want to tell us about it?
Where should those Peeps tell us about it?
Look, Peeps.
Hit us up, Peeps.
I gotta tell you guys everything. No, Peeps. If you like Peeps, if you like Oreo Eggs, if you like jelly beans, if you like Easter, if you're a neckbeard, if you're not a neckbeard, if you're a mustache lip, if you're anything like that, get out.
If you've got a chin Hitler, aka goatee.
If you've ever had
soul patch, I mean.
Did you say mustache lip?
Yeah, neckbeard, mustache lip.
Where else would your mustache go?
What else is your beard going to be on? Oh, your chin, I guess.
Well, not your neck, right?
If you're a mustache neck and it's growing all the way down onto your neck.
Mustache cheek.
If you enjoy having lightsaber battles that will determine your eternal future in
if you've got a unibrow.
Any of those things. If you like Cranch or Blanche or peanut ketchup or whatever the fuck else they're gonna make. I couldn't come up with.
If you've got hairy armpits,
all at once.
If you've got really, really long pubes, I'm just yelling about hair now. Different parts of body hair.
Chad is disinterestedly eating jelly beans and in the background just shouting out places you can have body hair. That's really his contributions at this point of the podcast.
If you've got a lot of dingleberries on your ass crack hair, hit us up.
Please do not. Hit Chad up personally on Facebook or something. I don't want to hear about it.
Please
Pixar, it didn't happen.
Do not hit us up if you have that.
Hey guys, we don't want to hear all about your dingleberries. Unless you're cutting them off with a Renaissance-style sword, and we want to know all about that process.
Tell us about your ass shaving with your Renaissance sword.
Yo, Peeps, do you shave your ass? You do it with a big-ass sword? Hit us up. Okay, where did we start? Let's start this over. Okay, if you would like to tell us any of those things, plus any feedback on the podcast, and cut. Any of those things, any feedback, you know the drill. Email us at youtrydat@gmail.com. We have Twitter, #YouTriedThat, Facebook. We have a You Tried Dat group. We're on SoundCloud, Stitcher, YouTube, Instagram, all of these social media platforms that you can get in touch with us and let us know what you like, don't like, and give us some questions for the feedback, suggest foods. There's all kinds of ways for you to impact our podcast.
Now, would you rather shave your neck with a Renaissance sword or your pubes with a Renaissance sword?
We know which one I'm going to answer.
Do we?
I mean, yeah. Well, neck. I mean,
I don't think it's an easy answer.
How are you going to... It's unwieldy enough to use like a giant Renaissance sword. You're going to straddle said sword and cut off your hair, like angling your face down to try to see what you're cutting?
Why am I straddling the sword?
How else are you using it? You're just picking it up and sticking it.
I can at least look down and see. I can look down and see this. I said your pubes. What are you talking about? I can look down and see. I can look straight down and see what I'm cutting. Like if I'm using it on my neck, I feel like it's more of an issue because I can't see what I'm doing so well, or I'm looking at a mirror, which makes it.
And it's just like a weird angle to kind of like hold the sword up, you know? That's tough.
Right.
It's not weird at all to swipe a giant Renaissance sword down at your dick. That's not weird. That doesn't trouble anyone at all. Huh?
I'm not swinging it.
Either way, this is ending in disaster. So I might as well just go with the neck and then be dead rather than like be dickless or whatever.
I'd rather be dead than have no penis.
Pretty much.
No, I was thinking the strat because so you're getting underneath the balls and stuff. Like, there's a lot of hair in weird spots, right? Taint. You gotta take care of. No.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that good a job. Just the cursory.
You just need to cut one hair.
Oh, fine,
You're
all right.
choosing the one on the farthest side of his balls to try to cut for some reason.
Look, that's how I tell my barber to do it.
Man, this episode didn't have shit to do with Easter. We talked about literally everything but Easter.
We ate Easter candy and, talked about White Castle
I'm
sliders.
just going to point out that all
That's
of us
Easter.
told Easter stories until Novak decided to talk about Star Wars for 20 minutes. No, you want to get upset about derailment.
Star Wars is one of the finest Easter movies. It's truly an Easter movie.
Look, guys, hot take. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Star Wars is an Easter movie.
Yeah, there is that part where where Darth Vader is walking down the hallway and then in the background you can
Right.
see like Yoda banging the Easter bunny.
Yeah.
So there is that.
Yep.
That scene.
I remember that.
That was a little Easter egg
Look,
that they
I'm
put in.
a practicing Christian, and I can tell you, Jesus had the Force. It's the only way to possibly describe all the
Created
things that
the
were happening.
Force. Yeah. Wait, so was Obi-Wan wasn't Jesus, right? Or was he? He walked
were
around
all
with a cloak.
Jesus.
They were all
Chewbacca
of them were
was
Jesus.
I think mostly
All right,
Chewbacca.
guys. Your name is Luke Skywalker, but really you're just playing Force Jesus. So who is Darth Vader? The devil, then? I guess that makes sense.
He's Jesus.
Also
Come on.
Jesus.
and and the angel Gabriel was, I don't know, Han Solo. Yeah, it all adds up.
All right, well, that'll do it for our Star
Cool.
Wars, Easter-themed episode. Well, we will catch you next time when we'll be trying out 3 brand new snacks.
Deuces.
Yep.